So number 9 is getting distracted. This is probably the worst, the easiest mistake to make. I'll put it that way. It's easy to get distracted in a conversation when you feel defensive or when you think it's going well, and then they say something like, "You ought to hear what everybody thinks about your leadership," or "I don't think that's fair," or "The last supervisor, the last manager I had didn't do it this way at all." If you engage in that, it's like they are the fisherman and you're the carp and you just took the bait. It is a distraction, and I call it verbal ping pong. I'm mixing analogies here, but if you get distracted in a conversation, it's extremely frustrating. So if you don't know how to prepare for that distraction, it can cause a lot of problems. And I do a lot of work around that. And I want to show you the little visual that I use. I've told you before, I used the language of the island. There's the current situation. That's where we are. The island is the result we want, and then we're on the way. There's a gap in that conversation. We don't see a shark there. That would be an obstacle. But what happens instead is there's a distraction. We go to the island called "That's Not Fair," or "You ought to hear what else happened to me," or "I'm going to go to HR," whatever the case may be. We get distracted, and then we're in a different conversation and don't know how we got there. And I often say the one with clarity navigates the ship. So it's not that an employee or someone that's defensive is doing this intentionally. It's defensiveness. It's what we do as human beings. We are built for defensiveness to protect ourselves. The way we protect against that defensiveness is the way we plan for the conversation, so that we start the conversation from an intention where we all know where we're going. So if we said we're intending to talk about teamwork, when we start talking about what's not fair, what happened last year, that's not on the same track. So we can say, well, that may merit another conversation, but what we're here to talk about today. So I hope this visual can help you see where you're getting distracted in conversations. You're playing verbal ping pong and you're arguing your case instead of staying focused on the conversation. So the root cause here is what I call employee confusion. When employees are confused and they feel like they're being battered and they don't feel like they're being supported, you're going to get those distractions. You're going to get that defensive mechanism going. So here's some research. The brain is actually wired for defensiveness. And so when you say, like right off the bat, "Hey, we need to talk," without setting the intention, it makes the other person worry. Their mental mind just goes into that monkey brain, and they just wonder what's going to happen. What are they going to say? I wonder what it is. I wonder what I did. I wonder if I'm getting fired. I wonder if I'm getting in trouble. I wonder if I'm getting moved. When you say we need to talk, it puts the other person in a stance where they want to protect themselves. But if you know how to set a clear direction before the meeting, one that puts them at ease and it's positive, and you can stick to that position, it's a lot easier